The sun had already dipped low over the city, streaking the horizon with a wash of amber and violet. Marcus Wright tapped the steering wheel lightly, keeping time with the soft rhythm of a Stevie Wonder track playing on the radio. His daughter's 8th birthday balloons rustled in the back seat, the faint squeak of rubber against leather a cheerful counterpoint to the steady hum of the tires on the road. It had been a long day at work, but tonight was all about family. Vanessa, his wife, was already home making sure the cake was just right, and their daughter Kayla had been calling him all day asking, "Daddy, are you almost home yet?" He could still hear her giggle echoing in his head, sweeter than any song. Marcus adjusted his rearview mirror and caught the unmistakable glint of flashing blue lights in the distance. His chest tightened. The car behind him hadn't turned on the sirens yet, but he knew the look. That creeping tail, too close, too deliberate. His fingers stiffened around the steering wheel. Not tonight. Please, not tonight. But the lights flared. Red and blue. Marcus exhaled slowly and eased the car onto the shoulder. The balloons in the back bumped against the window, swaying like fragile promises. He put the car in park, rolled down his window, and placed both hands firmly on the steering wheel. Visible, steady, exactly as his father had taught him years ago. The officer stepped out, boots crunching against gravel, a shadow lengthening in the glow of the headlights. Marcus studied the man in his mirror, tall, broad, the kind of officer who carried not just a badge but an aura of dominance, sharpened by the weight of unchecked authority. His walk wasn't neutral. It was purposeful, aggressive. The officer leaned down. License and registration. His voice was clipped, impatient, as if Marcus's existence on this stretch of road was already an inconvenience. Marcus kept his tone calm. "Of course, officer. May I reach into my glove compartment to get the registration?" The officer's jaw tightened. Slowly, Marcus moved carefully, narrating each motion like a man defusing a bomb. Opening glove compartment. Reaching for the envelope, here it is. License is in my wallet, back pocket. I'll take it out slowly. The officer snatched the documents and looked them over, his flashlight darting around the interior of the car like he was searching for hidden guilt. The balloons reflected the harsh light, glowing red, blue, and yellow in the cramped space. "What's the occasion?" the officer asked, though his tone carried no warmth. "My daughter's birthday," Marcus replied evenly. "I'm on my way home to her party." The officer smirked. "Nice story." He stepped back, circling the car. "Mind telling me where you were coming from?" Marcus kept his gaze straight ahead. "Work. I'm a project manager at the firm downtown. Left the office late." The officer's boots stopped at Marcus's window again. He leaned in close, his breath sharp with the scent of coffee. "Funny, you don't look like management material." Marcus's chest burned. His father's voice whispered from memory, "Stay calm. Don't give them a reason." He swallowed the anger. "Everything okay, officer?" Marcus asked softly. The officer smirked again, clearly enjoying the power. "That's what I'm here to find out." He walked back toward his cruiser, muttering into the radio. Marcus's knuckles whitened against the steering wheel. Minutes stretched into an eternity. The balloons behind him bobbed and twisted in the stale air, mocking the silence. Then came the second approach. Heavier steps, louder, fueled by something Marcus couldn't yet read. "Step out of the vehicle," the officer ordered. Marcus froze. "May I ask why, officer?" "Because I said so." The words carried the sting of arrogance, the kind that fed on submission. Marcus's throat went dry. His daughter's voice played in his mind again. "Daddy, are you almost home yet?" Slowly, Marcus opened the door and stepped out. The evening air bit against his skin, carrying the faint smell of rain. The officer guided him toward the hood of the car. "Hands where I can see them." Marcus complied. The officer circled, studying him like a predator sizing up prey. "Driving kind of fancy for someone coming from work," the officer sneered, eyeing the modest but well-kept car. Marcus kept his voice steady. "It's a used Lincoln, officer. Nothing fancy about it." The officer chuckled. "Smart mouth. You hiding something? No, sir. By now, a few passing cars had slowed, their drivers rubbernecking. A man on a bicycle stopped on the sidewalk, pulling out his phone. The red and blue lights painted the street in lurid flashes. The tension was a spectacle, and Marcus was the unwilling centerpiece. The officer leaned closer, almost nose to nose. Guys like you always act clean until they're not. So why don't you save me the trouble and tell me what you did? Marcus's heart thundered. He thought of Vanessa, her calm smile, her strength, her brilliance in the courtroom. He thought of Kayla's cake waiting at home. I did nothing wrong, officer. The officer smirked again, but before he could reply, a sharp, commanding voice cut through the night. Marcus! Both men turned. A sleek black sedan had pulled up behind the cruiser, its headlights slicing through the gloom. From the driver's seat stepped a woman in a tailored suit, her presence radiating authority. Vanessa. Her heels clicked against the pavement with precision, each step carrying the weight of confidence born from years of commanding respect in courtrooms. Her eyes locked on the officer with a cold, unwavering intensity. Is there a problem here, officer? She asked, her tone even but edged with steel. The officer straightened, caught off guard. Ma'am, this is official police business. I suggest you step back. Vanessa's expression didn't waver. She reached into her purse, pulled out a leather case, and flipped it open with practiced ease. The gold seal gleamed under the flashing lights. Judge Vanessa Wright, she said firmly, and you've just unlawfully detained my husband. The air shifted instantly. The bystanders murmured, some gasping audibly. Phones lifted higher, recording every detail. The officer's confidence faltered. His mouth opened, then closed, the swagger draining from his posture. Judge, he stammered. I wasn't aware. Vanessa cut him off, her voice slicing through his excuses. You weren't aware because you didn't bother to ask. Instead, you profiled, harassed, and attempted to intimidate a man who has done nothing but drive home to his family. The officer swallowed hard, sweat forming at his temples. Ma'am, you will return his license and registration immediately, Vanessa commanded. And then you will step away from this vehicle. The officer hesitated, glancing nervously at the cluster of recording phones. His authority had evaporated, replaced by the gnawing awareness that his actions were now evidence. With a shaky hand, he returned Marcus's documents. Marcus took them calmly, his face composed but his chest still pounding. Vanessa's gaze bore into the officer like a spotlight. You've humiliated yourself tonight, and believe me, this will not be forgotten. The crowd buzzed, whispers spreading like wildfire. The officer stepped back, his bravado broken, his future uncertain. Marcus exhaled for the first time in what felt like hours. He turned to Vanessa, gratitude and awe mingling in his eyes. Thank you, he whispered. Vanessa's expression softened only for him. Let's go home. Together, they walked back to the car. The balloons bobbed gently in the back seat, reminders of the celebration still waiting. Marcus slid behind the wheel, Vanessa beside him, and for the first time all night, safety wrapped around him like a blanket. As they drove away, the flashing lights faded into the distance, swallowed by the night. Marcus's hands trembled against the wheel, but Vanessa reached over, her fingers intertwining with his. You're safe now, she murmured. Minutes later, they pulled into their driveway. The house glowed warmly, laughter spilling through the windows. Kayla burst through the door, her little arms wrapping tight around Marcus's waist. Daddy, you're home, she squealed. Marcus knelt, hugging her fiercely, breathing in the scent of birthday cake and frosting that clung to her hair. Tears pricked his eyes, but this time they weren't from fear. They were from relief, from love, from survival. Inside, candles flickered, balloons bobbed, and family voices sang in chorus. Marcus blew out the candles with Kayla, his heart lighter than it had been all night. But as Vanessa watched him, her mind was already working. Tomorrow would bring questions, meetings, accountability. The officer had crossed a line, and as a judge, she would make sure it never happened again. For tonight, though, Marcus was home, safe, surrounded by love, and that was enough. The night's scars would remain, but so would the victory. The reminder that justice, when it shows up, has a face. And tonight it was hers. If you love this story, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.